Do you want to learn how to keep shad alive and frisky for not only an hour, but possibly even a day or two? Stick around, we're going to show you how we do it. All right, so we're going to talk about keeping shad alive. We did our bait tank build before, but now we're going to talk about the most important part, and that is keeping bait alive once you catch it. That's a lot of things. That's one thing a lot of anglers struggle with. They can catch bait, they may be able to throw a net, but they don't know what it takes to keep bait alive. So we're going to get started. We're going to tell you how we use the system that we use. It's a system, everything from catching the bait to additives to the tank. We're going to go through all this and tell you how we keep bait alive. All right, so what we discussed before when building our tank, all bait tanks are either oval or round in shape. The reason being is shad are constantly swimming. Shad do not sit still. Shad are constantly swimming around. If you have a square tank, shad will get in the corner. When they get in that corner, they not only beat themselves up, but they use all the dissolved oxygen in that area. I know it sounds funny, but that's the way it is. The water has to be able to circulate in a circular motion, constantly providing oxygen to the shad. The shad have to be able to constantly move around. Oh, there's one flipped right there. Oh, there's another. We're gonna catch him here in a minute. So, but anyway, yeah, they're flipping like crazy. They just want us to catch them. Anyway, your tank needs to be circular in shape, so that water can circulate around. The shad can constantly swim around, no problem. They always have access to dissolved oxygen. Now, another part of your tank, you must have a filter. What's going to happen when you put those shad in there? There's a lot of scales that are going to come off. There's a lot of slime that's going to come off, and then they poop a lot. You literally scare the crap out of them when you catch them. So what you want to do, you want to have some kind of good filter system to get all that gunk out of the water. You do not want that in your tank. You want this water as clean as possible, because what will happen, that will get hung in their gills, and it'll basically suffocate them. So you want that. Oh, man, this dang shad keep them big ones too. So anyway, you must have a good filter system, some kind of filter. This is filter material. We just bought it on Amazon. We actually use this in our pond at home. It works great. It has a coarse side and more of a finer side, so it gets most all the particles. We want to make sure that that water is as clean as possible. The next thing, a pump. Make sure you have a pump. Now, you can use a 300 gallon, 350, whatever. I prefer a 500 gallon or larger. If you are using a big tank, say 75 or 100 gallon, you're going to want a minimum of an 800 gallon, or even if you can get a 1200 gallon pump is the best way to go. Make sure you have a good pump. Now on this bait tank build, we use a cheaper pump. We were trying to keep the price down. A rule is probably going to be top of the line. Next is going to be an Atwood. Those pumps are easily available on Amazon, or you can usually get them at your local bait and tackle store. But make sure you have a good pump. Now the last thing is going to be some kind of oxygen infusion system. You can use one that actually mounts on the end of the pump that has a venturi to come in. That's what we used on this one. We used a Danco, which works amazing. I prefer that method. Another thing you can do is you can get some kind of oxygen bubbler. Fraybill makes several different ones. They make one that I know will hook to a battery and will run forever. It's a dual output. You can do that. Use stones in the bottom. Just as long as you're getting some kind of dissolved oxygen in that water, that makes all the difference in the world. All right, so we got our tank filled up. We got it going. Got the pump circulating. Got the filter working. Doing what it should. Now, here is the next very, very important step. What are you adding to that water? The number one thing to add to your bait tank water is going to be some type of salt. Now, my two preferences, number one, I had it sitting in the pantry, ice cream salt. Rock salt works fantastic. Another thing I use, Morton's makes a water softener pellet. Those pellets work great. You can buy a 40-pound bag for under 10 bucks. And that 40-pound bag will last you a long time. Now, you need to know how much salt to put in your water. You don't want too little salt, you don't want too much salt. A good rule of thumb that I have always went by is 1 cup, and yes, I stole one of my wife's measuring cups. She's gonna kill me when she watches this video. But 1 cup of salt per 20 gallons of water. We've estimated this to be about 20 gallons. We're gonna put 1 cup of salt in this, let it get dissolved, and that goes whether it's rock salt or pellets. I like to use that 1 cup per 20 gallons. So we're gonna dump that in there, give it a few minutes to get dissolved. We'll be ready to catch some shad. Now the next step, I'm getting ready to catch shad. Well, what do I do with those shad as soon as I get them? The first thing you're going to want to do is purge them, is what I call it. That's the best way I know to describe it, is purge these baits. When you get them, don't dump them straight into the tank. I carry a bucket with me that I keep my net in. Right now I've got it about a third of the way full of water. I'm gonna put those shad in this bucket. Let them, because what's gonna happen when you first catch them, a bunch of scales, a bunch of slime is gonna come off. Like I said, they're gonna poop. You don't want that in your tank. So I like to purge them out and get most of all that in this bucket, then get them out either with a net or by hand, put them in the tank. That's the best way to do it. You can use a tub. I used to use a storage tub, just a shallow, clear storage tub. I would put water in it, put my bait in there, then put it in the tank. So let's go ahead, let's catch some bait, put them in, see if we can keep them alive. All right, so we've got some bait. We're gonna stick them in our bucket to purge a little bit, just to get some of that slime and scales off of them. He's gilled, so we're gonna throw him out. All right, so you can see all the slime and everything coming off those dudes. We're gonna leave that in there. Put these in the tank. Now, a lot of people ask, how many shad should I put in my tank? I'm going to say 1 large shad per gallon of water. That's a good rule of thumb. You do not want to overcrowd your shad. So, like I said, 1 large shad per gallon. I've probably got 20 to 22 shad in there. I think we're going to roll with that. We're going to see how long we can keep these dudes alive. Alright, so we've had the shad in the tank for probably about a good hour. We can see our filter's doing its job. It's catching a bunch of the slime and the scales and everything. We're going to go ahead and clean this filter up some, and then put it back in there. And then just basically take it off, put it in the water, rinse it off, and then put it back in. So let's work on that. Alright, so we've had this bait in the tank all day long. We've had it now, it's been at least 6 hours that we've had it in the tank. And it is absolutely gorgeous and just as lively as when we caught it. So we're going to keep this bait in the tank for a while. We've actually got a couple Mongo gizzards in here. Look how pretty that bait is. Just lively as could be. So this system works. It works really well. Just follow those steps. Remember, a cup of salt per 20 gallons of water, 1 big shad per gallon of water. Keep your filter clean. We've cleaned the filter a couple times. That's the biggest thing. Just keep it clean. Keep all that crap out of the water. that water when we put it in here was actually a little murky, and now it's cleared up quite a bit. So it works. We're going to keep this bait in the tank. We're going to try to keep it probably for a couple days and see how long we can keep it alive. Like I said, just a matter of keeping that filter cleaned out, and I don't think we'll have a problem. So thanks for watching.